There comes a moment when the past becomes your prison. Memories, regrets, lost friendships, dead dreams. They don't inspire you anymore. They weaken you. They shackle you with nostalgia. They keep you loyal to versions of yourself that no longer deserve to exist. Machiavelli never said, heal. He said, burn, sever, replace. If the past has made you soft, it must be erased. Not gradually, not politely, but violently. Rip the emotional roots out. Cut ties. Let people call you cold. Let them mourn the version of you that served them. You are not here to stay familiar. You are here to become dangerous. This video is not about peace. This is about war with your former self. You will learn how to delete your past and rebuild without mercy. Let's begin. Most people are slaves to memory. They say, I used to be happy. I miss how things were. I want to get back to who I was. Fools. There is no going back. The past is a cemetery. But instead of burying the dead, you're dragging corpses into your future. Old friendships that no longer serve you. Outdated dreams. Guilt from mistakes made years ago. Worse, you're loyal to people who only loved the weaker version of you. The version that said yes. The version that obeyed. The version that needed validation. Machiavelli teaches us, to gain power, you must become unrecognizable. You must betray your former self. Every time you try to hold on to the past, you reduce your sharpness. You trade evolution for emotional comfort. But power does not tolerate sentiment. It requires sacrifice. Let this video be your turning point. We are not here to reflect. We are here to cut. You can't rise if you're dragging corpses. That's what most people don't understand. They think growth is about adding new habits, adding new people, adding new ideas. But power begins not with addition, but subtraction. Look around you. Every name in your contacts list, every voice in your head, every routine you repeat without question. Now ask yourself, who or what, if removed, would make you faster, sharper, freer? That is your dead weight. And Machiavelli would tell you, cut it. The weak links will slow the army. In warfare, a single slow soldier can stall an entire battalion. That's why ancient generals were ruthless with discipline. One weak link could cost the battle. One emotional hesitation could mean defeat. The same is true in your personal campaign. Your life is an army. Your habits are soldiers. Your mindset is your general. And your relationships? They are allies or liabilities. If you are still surrounded by people who think like your former self, the self you're trying to escape, you are not evolving. You are orbiting failure. Familiarity is not a virtue. It's a trap. You must conduct a cold audit. Who makes you justify your ambition? Who guilts you for changing? Who keeps dragging you into old conversations, old habits, old memories? These people may not hate you, but they slow you down, and that's enough. Because in the pursuit of power, delay is death. Silence is the first blade. Most people try to distance themselves gently. They wait for the right time. They want to leave without hurting anyone's feelings. Machiavelli would laugh at this weakness. He believed in surgical strikes. If someone was no longer useful, he didn't wait. He didn't apologize. He removed. You must do the same. Don't announce your departure. Don't explain your silence. Don't write a final message trying to make them understand. Cut. Block the number. Walk away mid-conversation. Miss the meeting on purpose. Vanish without explanation. Let them feel the absence. Let them guess. Your disappearance will say more than your words ever could. Understand, loyalty is only noble when it's mutual. When it becomes a one-way leash around your neck, It becomes betrayal of yourself. You owe your old connections nothing except silence. Stop being the therapist of the group. Too many of you are trapped because you've become emotionally useful to others. You're the listener, the fixer, the emotional crutch. They don't value you. They use you to feel better about their own stagnation. Cut. You're not their therapist. You're not their savior. You are not a safe space. You are a threat to the mediocrity they worship. They want the version of you that says, "It's okay, you're doing your best." But power comes from saying, "This is not enough. Rise or be left behind." When you stop tolerating emotional laziness, they will call you arrogant, cold, ruthless, good. Let them. You are not here to be loved. You are here to be undeniable. Leave no bridges intact. People always say, "Don't burn bridges." Machiavelli would respond, "Only if you're weak enough to return." A bridge left standing is a temptation to retreat. It's a trap you set for yourself. You tell yourself, "Just in case I fail, I can always go back." No, burn it. Make the past unrecoverable. Remove the safety net. Put yourself in a position where survival requires transformation. Only then will you grow sharp. Only then will you learn how much of your potential you've been withholding out of comfort. Power is not found in ease. It's extracted from pressure. So burn the old city. Leave no map to find your way back. Let them wonder where you went. Let them gossip about who you became. You're not coming back to explain. If cutting off dead weight is the first step, deleting sentiment is the second. And it's far more dangerous. You can block a person. You can leave a place. But what do you do when the real enemy is the invisible string of emotions still wrapped around your mind? That's what sentiment is. Emotional residue. The echo of old relationships, nostalgia, guilt, and comfort. It blinds you. It chains you. It makes you hesitate when you should strike. Machiavelli had no tolerance for it. In The Prince, he made it clear. A wise ruler must not hesitate to be cruel when cruelty is necessary. Cruelty isn't about blood, it's about clarity. And there is no clarity while you're drowning in sentiment. Sentiment is a weapon used against you. Do you know why people want you to remember the good times? Because that memory softens you. It makes you second guess. It makes you stay. Even when staying costs you your ambition. Sentimentality is a trap disguised as loyalty. You say things like, "But we've been friends for years. They helped me when I was struggling. They're not perfect, but they were there for me once." And so you stay. You keep that old friend around. You keep returning that message. You keep tolerating the outdated version of your life. Why? Because sentiment demands that you betray your future out of respect for your past. Power demands the opposite. Emotions are tools, not masters. Machiavelli saw emotions the way a blacksmith sees fire, useful when controlled, deadly when left to burn. He never said don't feel. He said don't obey your feelings. So when guilt creeps in, when nostalgia whispers in your ear, when memories cloud your vision, pause and ask, does this emotion serve my rise? Is this feeling helping me evolve? Or is it making me weak? If the answer is weakness, then that emotion must be discarded like a broken weapon. You must train yourself to see your past relationships without the emotional filter. Remove the warmth. Remove the softness. See it for what it is. A snapshot of who you used to be, not who you are now. And definitely not who you are becoming. Burn the shrines. Look around your room, your digital archives, your memory triggers, photos, gifts, old playlists, messages you still read in secret, memories you still romanticize when you're feeling low. Delete them. Burn them. Erase them all. You are not a museum curator preserving your emotional history. You are a conqueror forging a new empire. Why are you carrying relics from a lost kingdom? Why do you keep letters from people who would be threatened by your next transformation? Why do you still revisit the conversations that once comforted your weakness? This is not healing. This is sabotage. You cannot fully evolve while keeping souvenirs from your former self. Power does not come to those who look back. It comes to those who burn the path behind them. Guilt is the enemy of ascension. One of sentiment's most powerful weapons is guilt. Guilt for leaving people behind. Guilt for changing. Guilt for wanting more. Guilt for succeeding while others stay stuck. Understand this. If you feel guilty for growing, it means you were raised to serve others before yourself. You were programmed to feel shame when you surpass the pack. Machiavelli would call this a flaw to be corrected. Guilt is a leash tied around your neck, held by those who benefit from your stagnation. The moment you feel guilty for cutting someone off, ask, did they ever feel guilty for slowing me down? If the answer is no, then your guilt is misplaced. You don't owe anyone your potential. You don't owe them explanations. You don't owe them updates. You don't owe them access to your upgraded version. They had their time. That version of you died with their opportunity. Now that you've burned the past, cut the dead weight, and buried sentiment, the real work begins, rebuilding. But not as the old you. Not as the man who waited for permission. Not as the woman who explained herself. Not as the friend, the nice guy, the helper. You rebuild like a tyrant, cold, calculated, absolute. Because once you remove the ghosts, something must fill the void. And if you don't take command, the world will try to rebuild you in its image, weak, tame, apologetic. Machiavelli warned, a new ruler must at once set up a new order of things, for men will more readily endure present evils than new benefits. Translation: if you do not impose your new rules immediately and ruthlessly, people will drag you back into your former cage. So here is your blueprint for the rebuild. 1. Reconstruct with precision, not emotion. This is not a time for dreaming. It is a time for discipline. Most people try to find themselves after they let go of the past. They wander. They seek peace. They get lost in healing rituals and self-discovery nonsense. You don't need to find yourself. You need to create yourself, deliberately, aggressively, without emotion. Build your new identity like a fortress. Set your schedule like a general planning battle. Select your inner circle like a king choosing bodyguards. Eliminate distractions with the same decisiveness you use to eliminate enemies. You're not healing, you're reprogramming. Emotion has no seat at this table. You do not ask how you feel. You ask, does this serve my power? If yes, it stays. If not, it dies. 2. Enforce new laws without mercy. The old version of you tolerated disrespect, disorganization, laziness, because you were afraid of confrontation, afraid of losing people, afraid of being alone. That fear is dead now. In your new empire, there are rules, and these rules are not suggestions. If someone speaks to you with disrespect, they're cut. If a habit weakens your body or mind, it's removed. If an activity drains your energy without a clear return, it's gone. You must set standards so high they scare your former self. And when others question it, criticize it or mock it, hold the line. Let them fall away. Let them call you too strict. Let them say you've changed. That's the point. A tyrant does not ask for agreement. He imposes order. 3. Move quickly to prevent rebellion. Machiavelli said, injuries should be done all at once. Benefits should be handed out slowly. When rebuilding your life, take decisive action fast. Change everything at once. Your routine, your priorities, your boundaries, your entire environment. Why? Because if you change slowly, people will resist. They'll negotiate with your progress. They'll pull you back. They'll find cracks in your transformation. But if you disappear for 30 days and return unrecognizable, sharper, colder, unbothered, they will have no time to react. Shock them. Don't evolve politely. Evolve violently. Overwhelm them with your transformation before they can protest. 4. Ruthlessly manage your time and energy. In your old life, your time was stolen. People wasted your attention. You said yes too often. You treated time like it was infinite. Now you treat every second as a resource. Your time is for building. Your energy is for execution. Your rest is strategic, not indulgent. Protect your hours like a tyrant guards his throne. Say no with no explanation. Ignore calls. Leave texts unread. Walk away from anything that dilutes your intensity. This is not selfishness. This is sovereignty. Your calendar is now a weapon. Use it to conquer your future. 5. Design a life that intimidates your old self. The ultimate test of your rebuild is this. Would the old version of you survive in this new world? Would he keep up with your routine? Would she survive your standards? Would they meet your expectations? If not, good. You've built something that demands evolution. And if your new life doesn't make your old self uncomfortable, you're not rebuilding. You're recycling. Don't aim for balance. Aim for dominance. Build a life so structured, so focused, so powerful that the weak cannot breathe in it. And neither can the version of you who once tolerated mediocrity. There is one clear measure of whether your transformation is complete. If they still recognize you, you haven't gone far enough. People should look at you and feel confusion, doubt, fear. They should hesitate before speaking to you the way they used to. Not because you're cruel, but because your energy no longer makes room for comfort. The old version of you? Predictable, accessible, safe. This new version? Unrecognizable, untouchable, unreachable. Machiavelli didn't believe in slow evolution. He believed in disruption, in shock, in transformation so absolute that even allies were forced to rethink their position. He wrote, "A wise prince must change his conduct with the times." He never said, adjust. He said, change. And in politics, as in life, real change doesn't come with a soft transition. It comes like a guillotine. So how do you become unrecognizable? 1. Eliminate every trace of the old. You begin with this. If your enemies from the past still know how to provoke you, you are not dangerous. You're just wearing a new outfit. Your transformation must reach into your core. New voice tone, new posture, new vocabulary, new boundaries, new silence. Every detail must evolve. Don't just act different. Become different. The old you was easy to understand, easy to read. People knew your triggers, your weaknesses, your habits. They knew how to manipulate you. Now, you erase those patterns. You rewrite the entire script. You no longer laugh at the same jokes. You no longer apologize when you walk into a room. You no longer tolerate the casual disrespect you used to smile through. That version of you is gone. Not retired. Not taking a break. Dead. 2. Abandon the need for closure. One of the most emotionally dangerous habits you must kill is the need for closure. You think you need to explain your silence. You want to send that final message. You hope they understand why you changed. No. Machiavelli would say, power does not explain. Power acts. Let them wonder. Let them stew in confusion. Let them invent their own stories. You don't clarify your transformation. You don't justify your decisions. You don't offer reconciliation. The strongest move you can make is to vanish without explanation, and then return in a form they can't comprehend. They deserve your silence. You owe them nothing else. 3. Master the art of emotional distance. Becoming unrecognizable isn't just about image. It's about internal control. The old you felt everything too deeply, offended by small slights, pulled into useless arguments, distracted by validation, obsessed with being understood. Let that go. Emotional detachment is your new armor. You don't flinch when disrespected. You don't argue with fools. You don't defend your name in public. You move in silence. You strike in darkness. You choose influence over reaction. This emotional distance is what creates your new aura, the kind of presence that makes people hesitate before speaking, that silence that forces others to respect boundaries they don't even see. You've become a mystery, and mystery is more powerful than any statement you could make. 4. Create a life that repels the old crowd. If the same people from your past still feel comfortable around you, it means your evolution hasn't gone deep enough. The environment you now build should repel the unworthy, not because you're unkind, but because your new pace, your new standards, your new hunger expose their lack of ambition. You don't have time for casual hangouts, for endless conversations about the past, for emotional hand-holding. You move fast. You talk sharp. You expect more. Let them call you intense. Let them say, you've changed. Let them feel rejected, because they're right. You've changed in ways they will never understand. You've upgraded in silence while they stayed nostalgic. This is not arrogance, it is evolution. You don't belong in the same circles anymore. And that's the point. You've severed ties. You've erased sentiment. You've rebuilt your world like a tyrant. You've become unrecognizable. Now there is one final law. Do not go back. Because nothing threatens your transformation more than the temptation to return to people, places, habits, and roles you've already outgrown. Machiavelli was clear. Men will not look at what has been done, but at what remains to be done. Meaning, you are not judged by your escape from the past. You are judged by your refusal to ever return. This is where most people fail. Not in the burning, but in the longing. They cut people off, and then secretly hope to be missed. They rebuild their life, and then look back to see who noticed. They become unrecognizable, but still crave the applause of the same crowd they left behind. That weakness, that hunger for acknowledgement, is what drags them back. You owe nothing to the past. There is a lie that society whispers to you. Don't forget where you came from. Why? You already paid the price. You already endured the pain. You already carried the weight. You don't owe your old self a monument. You don't owe your childhood neighborhood a visit. You don't owe old friends an explanation for your success. You survived. That was the debt. And you paid it. Now it's time to let it rot. If someone wasn't there in the rebuilding, they have no right to sit in the finished empire. If they didn't bleed with you, they don't eat with you. Leave them behind, and never send a return ticket. Grief is natural. Indulgence is weakness. Let's be honest. Leaving the past behind isn't always rage. Sometimes it's grief. You'll miss people who were never good for you. You'll miss places that suffocated your ambition. You'll miss the version of yourself that didn't know better. That's human. But Machiavelli never cared about feelings, only function. And grief that slows you down is no longer emotion, it's sabotage. Mourn quietly, briefly, privately. Then carry on, colder and clearer. You are not here to be emotionally correct. You are here to be untouchable. Stop checking the rearview mirror. Do you know why conquerors never look back? Because the rearview mirror shows ghosts. Ghosts of people who miss the old you. Ghosts of conversations you should have ended years ago. Ghosts of comfort that once kept you weak. And the more you look at them, the more you begin to doubt your distance. You start to wonder, was I too harsh? Maybe I overreacted. Should I reconnect, just to see how they're doing? No, that voice is not your conscience. It's your past begging to be resurrected. But here's the truth. Anything you have to look back to find is already dead. And you don't make peace with the dead. You leave them buried. Don't get pulled into the apology trap. The more you rise, the more people will come crawling from the past. Not to celebrate you, but to guilt you. You've changed. You think you're better than us now? Success made you arrogant. This is a trap. They want you to soften, to come down from your throne, to return to their emotional level. Never do it. Machiavelli teaches that when you consolidate power, you must appear unmoved. If you begin to explain or apologize, you signal weakness, you signal doubt. And once people smell that doubt, they try to pull you back. Do not justify your absence. Do not defend your transformation. Do not explain your silence. Let your success speak. Let your evolution offend them. Let your indifference finish the conversation. The dead cannot follow you. Here's the brutal truth. Not everyone is meant to come with you. Not every friend was built for your next chapter. Not every love was designed to survive your transformation. And that's fine. They served their purpose. They were the soil that helped you grow. But the moment you become the tree, the soil is no longer needed. Gratitude doesn't mean return. Respect doesn't mean reunion. You do not water dead plants. Let others romanticize the past. Let them dwell in nostalgia. Let them rewrite history in their favor. You build the future so far ahead, they wouldn't even recognize the path to catch up. You leave the dead behind, not out of hatred, but because they are no longer alive in your timeline. The past is not a place to visit. It's a battlefield you walked away from. Scorched, empty, silent. Never go back. You didn't escape just to explain yourself. You didn't rebuild just to be understood. You didn't become unrecognizable just to seek applause from the very ghosts you buried. The dead will always call your name. Let them scream into the silence. You are not here to be forgiven. You are here to be feared, respected, watched from a distance. So burn the map, leave no trail, and never return to ashes. This is how power is built, by walking away without mercy, and never looking back. If you're ready to become dangerous, if you're done being soft for the sake of others, and if this video lit something cold and sharp inside you, subscribe, like the video, and vanish with us into the shadows where real power begins. Machiavelli would have approved.